Good morning, everybody. Afternoon to seventh period. This is 15.3 live from room 451, and it's 6:56 in the morning. I am making this screencastify and Edpuzzle for you because I have several meetings I need to attend today. So my choice was to get a substitute or sub for myself. So I'm subbing for myself. So I would pause for a moment and ask you to get your note-taking guide out as well as your journal question. Also, I want to show you my really cute Dorothy mask. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Because of the wonderful things he does. Okay, so our subject today is the long-term risks of alcohol. Long-term risks. So long-term risks imply what can happen to the body over time with misuse and inappropriate use. So your journal question asks you to describe 2 long-term effects of drinking alcohol irresponsibly on someone's body. So if you're not sure, you'll definitely have an idea after the end of the PowerPoint. We have 2 objectives, the long-term effects of alcohol, as well as the negative impact that alcohol has on a female if she chooses to misuse or abuse alcohol while pregnant. That objective will be addressed tomorrow during the asynchronous day. I'm only doing one take on this, so if I make mistakes, we'll just laugh through them, and you guys we'll get through it. We will get through it. So if a person chooses to use alcohol responsibly over the age of 21, there are little or no risks or long-term consequences. Anytime anyone chooses to put something in their body that is not supposed to be there, there is going to be minimal risk, and the person assumes that risk. No one is flawless. They choose that risk. There is little or no risk or long-term consequences. That is between them, their morals, their values, their physician to decide whether that is a safe or unsafe choice for them. But unfortunately, people don't often drink responsibly. So the long-term alcohol use damages 4 major body systems. If you look at your note-taking guide, you will see that they are the brain, the liver. As we know, everything that goes into our body, now the alcohol is being drank. We learned yesterday that alcohol that is vape shots, goes straight to the brain. It's very dangerous. 100% of that alcohol goes to the brain. I would prefer we think of those as fatal shots, not vape shots. So it goes straight to the brain. And when it is ingested, then our liver says, okay, what do you want me to do with this now? Just like it does with food. We learned then that once it gets into our circulatory system, it goes through our heart, through our digestive system, and we looked at what those implications are. Short term. Our digestive system, short term, that's going to be a paired Edpuzzle question. So remember from yesterday some of the short-term digestive system impacts. Short-term. Brain. Heart. That's a clue. Now we're looking at long-term. Let's look at the brain first. These are some brain scans of people that are known to be alcoholics or heavy users of alcohol. Note the difference. The social drinker brain shows no period of inactivity. On the red brain scan where you see the red, those are places of inactivity. Anytime there's a brain scan and we see there's been like a dye added or some sort of radioactive material, or I don't know if radioactive is the right word, but when you see inactivity, that means there's nothing going on there. That brain has been impaired. So in the non-alcoholic and alcoholic, you see places in the brain where that area has been negatively impaired. So there is loss of functionality in both of those areas. The brain cells have been destroyed, and when brain cells are destroyed, they do not regrow. Okay? So this is scientific evidence that the brain is impaired. Those areas are no longer functioning in these alcoholics. This is a picture of a healthy liver. If you're asked to describe it, and you will be, what do you see? What color is it? Does it appear to be soft or hard? Spongy? If you poked it, would it bounce back? Or would it be more like this? These are cross sections from a morgue of a person that had cirrhosis. Cirrhosis is a disease that is a result of heavy drinking, where a person has scarring from fat buildup in their liver. The liver can no longer do its job, which is to filter. And it is, how would you describe this? Different than this. The color, the texture, holes versus no holes. So cirrhosis is defined as excessive places where the liver is filled with fat. In the early stages, there may be no symptoms. Later, the person has fatigue, they may bleed and have easily bruising, itchy skin, yellow discolorations of the skin, possibly their eyes, and fluid accumulation in their abdomen. Cirrhosis of the liver can be a cause of death for an alcoholic. And here they are side by side. Without the cross section, you can see that the liver has the fatty clumps. It is not unusual also for an alcoholic to also have cancer in their liver. Whenever a body system has cell abnormality, that's also like an open invitation for cancer to say, hey, I'm an abnormal cell too. Let's hang out together. So there you see a side-by-side view of a healthy liver. And remember, I asked you to think about the color, the texture. You can see some very profound differences. So looking at our four systems, the brain, places of inactivity, cells die. Liver, fatty buildup, cirrhosis. What's next? So exciting. What is alcoholism defined? Alcoholism is defined where a person can no longer control their use of alcohol. It controls them. The alcohol is making decisions for the person in the brain. They are no longer in control of their life. But at what degree? Alcohol use has 3 stages of addiction. Our job today now is to look at those 3 stages. Early drinking matters. Statistics show that if anyone starts drinking at a young age, they're more likely to become an alcoholic. We studied our brain. Well, not your brain, but we looked at other brains. That nice Australian man helped us for 2 days, actually, and it showed how the reward pathway sort of gets hijacked, and it was suggested we delay using alcohol while the brain forms. And I also shared with one class, and I'm not sure if the others heard, based on the brain chemistry in my genetic family, my children were suggested not to use drugs or alcohol until they were 25. I can't say both of them did that, but I can say that one of my children who chose to use earlier did not fare well with that, and I've shared the story, and it delayed his career choices, and it delayed his emotional maturity and his social maturity. And by the grace of him making smart choices, and us setting some safety rules and him sticking to those, and really making some smart choices even under some situations where many teens don't, he didn't hurt himself or anyone else, and we're grateful. So it's really important to take this information and think about safety first. You all told me peers are the greatest influence in the poll question I asked you. So if you're the greatest influence, you are also the greatest influence to provide safety for each other. You are the biggest influence. You are. No excuses, no regrets. I'm recording this, so it's going to go down in history that you provide each other safety. You provide each other safety. So if you start drinking at a young age, you're more likely to have safety implications and issues and problems. So this stuff is real, it's proven. So does it mean that early drinking causes alcoholism? Your thoughts? Ed puzzle question. Okay. Teens who start drinking early have higher than average rates of psychiatric problems, needing to unravel some emotional issues, social distancing from friends and family through later times in life. It is a Band-Aid for stuffing issues and problems. It doesn't mean it'll always be that way, but we ask you to embrace and talk things out with trusted people as opposed to stuff them. Okay, these words are powerful. All right, so let's take a look at these stages. There are 3 stages. Okay, we're going to have a little activity, so it's important that we at least have the base knowledge. Stage 1, social drinkers. A social drinker may start to use alcohol to relieve stress, to avoid problems, or escape from problems at school, work, or home. So remind me in the chat box or unmiking, what are the 3 main reasons teens choose to underage drink? Thank you, chat box. Peers, family problems, media. Thanks, that's awesome. Okay, so we see school, work, home. Awesome. Stage 2, drinkers are totally dependent on alcohol. Alcohol's making the choices. Hijacked. Boom. Stage 3, late stage alcoholism, and this is where the last few days I've indicated that they rapidly lose total control of all aspects of health. All aspects of health. There's no control over social, mental, or emotional health. Okay. So this is where I'm going to ask questions in the chat box to period 1 and 2. Period 7, you'll get a chance to practice on your Ed puzzle. So that's where I'm subbing for myself. So there is one more vocab on your sheet. Define reverse tolerance. In our lessons previously, this is in part of the 3rd stage where the alcoholic they require less and less alcohol to get intoxicated. less and less alcohol to get intoxicated. So where somebody would say, I'm not an alcoholic, I only drink beer, they were drinking like a half a case to a case of beer in order to get drunk. They might come home and have one or two beers and they would just be drunk. Their body's saying, my tolerance got so high, my liver is, I can't take it anymore. I'm drinking one or two beers and they are beyond stage 3. Their body is almost dead. So they either go into treatment and detox and get their body well, or they are facing, a very, very short lifespan at that point. So that's reverse tolerance. So we're going to review those 3 stages, and then I'm going to send you to the classroom for a form where I'm going to read a situation, and then you're going to decide whether it's stage 1, stage 2, or stage 3. So we need to review those stages to make sure we understand what they are. Stage 1. Okay. Stage 2, stage 3. Okay. And again, those will be differently handled when I sub for myself. Excellent. So go to the classroom at this time and open up the Google form, and I will read the scenarios to you. So I'm hoping you have your form open. Statement number 1. At this stage, alcohol becomes more of a coping mechanism rather than just a relaxing drink at the end of the day. The drink is not quite enjoyable so much as a habit. Go ahead and mark your form, whether you believe it's stage 1, stage 2, or stage 3. Statement number 2. By the way, I hope you paused your Edpuzzle. Statement number 2. It's common during this stage for alcoholics to have lost their jobs, as well as their friends and family, but not all end up homeless. On your Google form, statement number 3. At this stage, the liver adapts to break down alcohol more quickly. Over time, repeated alcohol exposure also alters a person's brain chemistry. Statement number 4. In this stage, your friends are gone and your family is likely as well. You've most likely tried to quit multiple times by this point, and you found it seemingly impossible. You've become a slave to the bottle. And statement number 5. In social situations, during this stage, You may be unable to stop drinking when others do. And your best guess was good enough. It's graded on completion. Our goal in that was to get you to realize that alcoholism is a progression. Others are very aware that alcohol is affecting other people. And if peers are such a huge influence on each other, it's important that you help each other out by not suggesting or asking, do you need some help? It's there for you. You're part of encouraging someone. It's okay to get help. Next slide. Don't forget to turn your form in. Turn your form in. Submit. What can we do for someone who we think may be misusing? There are treatment options. First of all, you have to acknowledge there's a problem. If the person doesn't acknowledge they have a problem and they're a friend or it's you, it's okay. Your current situation does not determine your final destination. There are treatment options. The treatment options for youth, we don't expect you to know what they are. A person that is heavily embedded in alcoholism will first be detoxed. Detoxification is your last thing on your study guide. That is where a person is removed from all access to alcohol. They will not feel very good this last 3 to 7 days. They will have some unusual and not very good feelings, but in a supervised facility, they can be helped with what those unusual and icky physical effects are. And they are usually in a rehabilitation facility that teaches them how to cope and live without alcohol. As for teens, Ms. Sissom is scheduled to talk with you live on 11/20, and she can share with you what University Place has in place to help teens at any level of this. If you are a family member or a friend or personally worried about maybe your use of drugs or alcohol, what we can do to help you. Okay, and I have a slide about what's next. So what do you need to do to finish up this week? There will be a quiz tomorrow. So look over 15.1, 2, and 3. Complete the fetal alcohol video. It's a short video tomorrow and a few questions. Make sure you turn that in, as well as this note-taking guide. And with conferences coming up, remind your parents they can sign up for the morning ones. Most of the evening ones are taken. And if you want help from me, I have Wednesdays and Friday mornings. They are on campus, but for the first couple weeks, I want to go with you staying home and me staying here because of the rise of COVID cases in Pierce County. But it would just be like a one-on-one class situation. You would have your computer, I would have mine. You sign up, and I would send you a link, and we would just kind of have a one-on-one class session. So we do have sessions that you can sign up for. I would see that you signed up, and then we would do a one-on-one office hour type thing. Okay, so have a great weekend, and if you have any questions between now and Monday, shoot me an email. Where's my screen? There it is. Done.